Y'all, I've compiled a shitload of porn from Vinegar Syndrome over the last couple of years, and unfortunately I haven't been able to watch as much as I wanted, just thanks to, well, being busy AF, fam. What's worse than not watching a shitload of porn, though, is realizing that I hadn't actually seen any Joe Sarno films in full. For those unaware, Joe Sarno was perhaps even the king of the sexploitation genre, with hardcore features like this, just a small part of his oeuvre. We'll be getting into his work a lot this year, and A Touch of Genie seems like a good enough place to start. It's by no means his most popular, with Vinegar Syndrome themselves even putting out his far more notable film Red Roses of Passion on Blu-ray, and in a super limited capacity, to the point that if anyone wants to send it to me, I'd be much obliged, All the Sins of Sodom. The fuck?
Oh, doctor, what an instrument. May I examine it?
Of course. Yeah. Ooh.
Anyway, how does this little dip into the Sarno pool fare? Well, it's a porno.
All right, Shamus, you big dick. I hear you're looking for me.
Plot-wise, pretty straightforward. Jewish nerdling, secretive pervert, and antique shop owner Melvin has a big ol' crush on porn starlet Tina Russell, and one day he finds a magical jar that contains a genie. A very horny genie, played by Chris Jordan, whom, spoilers, we sadly never see getting it on. Sad face.
I could only be free to serve a master who rubbed the inside of my jar. You succeeded in rubbing the inside of my jar.
To satiate his infatuation with Russell and other porn stars, and just fucking in general, Melvin wishes to become his favorite male stars, like Harry Reams and Mark Stevens.
Don't you want to look like Harry Reams? Be a doctor and go to bed with 3 girls at once?
Hey, watch you with the spinning, huh? I get sick to my stomach very easily.
Sexy fun times, Jewish stereotypes, and potential incest ensues.
I had breakfast already. Look. How pink. How nice. Looks like Tina Russell's before the guy poked in his schmuck.
The comedy here is silly, perhaps a little anti-Semitic for some. It's Borscht Belt stuff. Lots of caricature work that's pretty inoffensive, not unlike what's presented in the original Little Shop of Horrors, right down to the overbearing Jewish mother. If that kind of thing comes off as charming to you, then all good in the hood.
Like stuffing, right? Well, stick with me and I'll get you stuck.
I'll stick.
Another movie A Touch of Genie reminded me of was, of all things, Evil Bong. Not in quality, because Evil Bong sucks, but just in the way we basically get 2 sets, the antique shop and the inside of the genie's lamp substitute. The latter is where all of the sexy time shenanigans occur. Speaking of which, the sex scenes here are pretty solid. There's a certain cleanliness to most of it that some might not associate with mid-70s adult filmmaking. And of course we have grand cocksmiths Reams, Stevens, and Eric Edwards laying pipe, which is always welcome. Tina Russell is good. I'm not a huge Tina Russell fan myself, but you know, she did her job, and fans of hers will get plenty of her. We also get Lynn Stevens, Sandy Fox, and Ro Tasha, who, as far as I can tell, only appeared in this and another 1974 Harry Reams flick, Ape Over Love. Stevens and Fox also had pretty short careers, with Fox going on to run a talent agency for adult actors before leaving the business entirely. Tina Russell famously wrote a memoir in '73 entitled Porno Star, which goes for reasonable prices. And she sadly died in 1981 after a steep decline in her career, the dissolution of her marriage to Jason Russell, and severe alcohol abuse, which, you know, sad. It's very sad, but also them's the breaks with a lot of these 70s adult film careers, unfortunately. There's much sadder ones out there. The real star here for me is Chris Jordan, who was married to Eric Edwards at the time, with whom she had appeared in loops in the early 70s, including a Bob Wolf loop where she co-starred with Linda Lovelace. Some of these are available in very low quality online if you're interested, but sadly none of her hardcore work appears to exist in a high definition format, as far as I can tell. And unless I'm mistaken, she never participated sexually in any feature-length hardcore work after those loops, which, you know, It's fine. She was first and foremost a great, cheery presence throughout her filmography, with legit comedic chops, which are on full display in A Touch of Genie.
Boy, do I ever love the way you rub the inside of my jar.
By the way, here's the normal artwork. Look at that. Look at that. There we go. There's the artwork. Look at that. Look at that shiz. And this is the other stuff that I turned it to. I flipped it. I flipped it. So there's that. It has boobies. Has boobies on it. I don't think I'm going to get demonetized for illustrated boobies. But I don't know. By the way, if you want to join my Patreon, you can get the uncensored version of this video, where you can see all the titties and bush and cock that you can handle. Heyo! Anyway, she did star in Teenage Hitchhikers, a crime comedy put out by Dark Force, while Film Movement put out another of her collaborations with Sarno, Confessions of a Young American Housewife, which you can also watch on their streaming service, which is getting increasingly worthwhile to me as I come back to it again and again. According to an interview with Eric Edwards, she left movies when their marriage ended around 1976 and went on to become a police officer before ultimately dying of cancer in 1990. The other notable star who gets 2 solid scenes and a pinch of uncomfortable incest humor is Ultramax, whose first credit on IMDb is a small role in a personal favorite of mine, The Telephone Book. I don't know jack about her, but it seems like she was just another actress who spent a few years in the New York porn scene. In 1973, she showed up in Whatever Happened to Miss September, also featuring Tina Russell, Mark Stevens, and Eric Edwards. She was apparently discovered by noted Frank Zappa collaborator and animator Edward Seaman, aka Eduardo Simano, a multi-hyphenate talent whom I'm very curious to look into, because his work seems artsy as hell, so we'll add him to the big list of directors whose works I need to dig up. For extras, we get 2 interviews, one with Joe Sarno biographer Michael Bowen. It's a pretty good interview, plenty of info on Sarno for the newbies and fans alike, along with a very glowing, positive opinion on the man himself. He's apparently working on a book about Sarno, which would be, probably a nice competitor to Tim Lucas's book, Games People Play, The Erotic Cinema of Joe Sarno, whenever the hell that comes out. The other interview is with actor Eric Edwards, who reminisces about what memories he has from the set, as well as meeting and working with Joe Sarno.
Joe Sarno was one of the easiest directors that I think I've ever worked with. He was a lot of fun, easygoing, quiet, no yelling, no screaming.
It's more lovely thoughts on the director, as well as Edwards' memories of giving an actress a real orgasm on set, good for you, and a funny story about hooking up with a married woman, plus a super positive outlook on adult films. Both these interviews are a little over 20 minutes, so good shit on the extras side of things on this here Vinegar Syndrome disc. Overall, A Touch of Genie was a welcome sarprise for me, mostly because I didn't realize it was a Joe Sarno joint until I started it. And for the longest time, I'd meant to get on the Sarno train, and so here I am, all aboard. Choo choo. Yeah. In his interview, Michael Bowen calls A Touch of Genie a very charming, small Sarno film, which it tracks with what I saw. This is a lightweight porno, but the straight scenes are so silly and old-fashioned that they make up for anything in the plot that might be lacking for your cineast tastes. And Chris Jordan is an absolute delight as the titular Genie. Oh, also, there's just really good fucking. That's all I got. Go watch a movie.